What's up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. It's the first Friday of April, so we're gonna make this one special. So yesterday I made a post talking about why it's so important to have some type of show. So like a ton of questions, ton of engagement, and when I see that, I decided why not create a little bit more of a clarity around the framework of a show, how we can go about doing it today, even if you don't have live on the platforms that you want to go live on, especially here on LinkedIn. The number one thing I think that lets people that makes people kind of scared to get started is that they don't have live access, for instance, and that shouldn't be a reason to not get started at all. So that's why I decided, let's jump in, let's spend some time actually talking about why, number one, why you need to do a show, and two, how you can actually get started today doing it. So number one, why do you need to have a show? It gets it's it's easy to start thinking about ideas for creating content, especially for your marketing plan. It's very easy to come up with 10, 20, 30, 50 ideas. But what happens eventually is that you're going to get into a rut where you feel like you're repeating yourself again and again and again. And whether you're writing articles, posting videos, whatever that is, you will probably end up feeling that you are saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. And when you get to that point, you might have a feeling of getting tired with creating, and then you stop, and then you never get started again. And the worst thing you can do is not be consistent with your posting, especially on social. So a show enables you to actually break up your content strategy and actually bring in guests and bring in a different format to actually make your content a lot more interesting, and will probably give you a ton more ideas for other pieces of content to create. So this is another amazing tool to use as both a experimental platform as well as a overall platform, just to try a ton of new things. So before we get started, Marshall, I appreciate you for jumping on. I was going to respond to your direct message, but I honestly totally forgot because I was going live. So that's why you need to create a show. The second thing is, how do you actually get started? Now, a lot of people think, okay, I need to go directly streaming. And that's a great idea for some people, but for I would say there's a good percent of the population that can stream. I am comfortable with completely messing up my words, going on trains of thought, tangents, all that fun stuff. And I'm able to recover, and it doesn't really bug me that much if I completely mess up, right? It just doesn't. For some people, they don't love that. They need a lot more structure, and therefore a pre-recorded or a post-produced piece of content is better. So we'll break down both. So there's live and there's scripted, right? So live, scripted. That's how we're going to break those down. So live is basically what we're doing right now. I am, it's 7:51 here on a beautiful Friday morning, PST time. And wherever you guys are watching, you're tuning in. Now, what's going to happen is people are going to tune in right now, but some people are going to tune in later when this is pre-recorded, right? So I need to actually think about a different way to frame that. Maybe in this conversation, I'll think about a new one. But basically, there's pre-recorded, or there's live, and then scripted. So the live ones, again, is what are we doing right here. I have a topic, I have a set of ideas that I'm talking about, but I'm able to adjust on the fly based on questions, comments, things I need to talk about, examples and whatnot. What I like about this is I get to throw out ideas and a spiel basically, and watch what you guys are saying. I'm seeing people are constantly liking and liking this post, so I'm paying attention to exactly what they're liking, what specific things that are interesting to them. Then I see people like Stephanie, who's posting, she posted a time that just contextualizes my message a little more. That in my mind says that, okay, they potentially like the time thing that I mentioned. I should talk more tangible things like that. So basically during this thing, I have a topic that I'm going with, and I did a whole live, I'll link in after the show, where it talked about exactly how I think about live pieces of content. But basically, in this show, I have a framework that I want to go talk about. What you can also do is have a Q&A show. So yesterday, I did 5 questions that all students, or 5 questions students have, and I call it answered, right? So that was a Q&A show. So we are doing a live show where I'm talking about a specific subject and I'm going off with bullet points I have in my head. The second one is a Q&A show where I basically solicit questions from my audience and I answer them here. Again, watching for feedback. So I see that we have some amazing people from Pakistan tuning in. Ariana, which I know she's on the East Coast, tuning in. So again, I'm able to adjust on the fly. And what questions and answers show enables you to do is have a conversation with your audience, but still have a general framework and a flow, right? When I'm done answering one specific question, then I can just move on to the next one. If I start running other questions, I can start soliciting them from my audience live, right? So there's great things that you can do in a live show. Now, the other one is you can do an interview. So basically you have live that you do, there's a Q&A, and then at the very end, there's guest appearances or interviews, right? So what's up, Eddie? Hopefully you're staying safe here. Safe. Arizona's starting to pick up with cases. So, and I know Eddie's out here in Phoenix as well. So gotta give some big shout outs to him. Plus everyone, please, whatever you do, stay safe. So the Q&A show is one of my favorite ones to do. But the other ones I really like to do is the interview show. So I love bringing in experts, especially in business marketing, personal development, coaching. I have a ton of people I bring on the show because I just like talking to new people and I like interviewing people, especially experts, because I'm not an expert at nearly as much as I want to be an expert on. I want to learn more about coffee and health and personal development. There's a ton of things I want to learn more about, but I have the access to, and we all have access to people who are experts in that. Now, a question is, how do I get guests on my show? Provide them value. Just ask, like, listen, you're an expert in this. I have a small audience, whether it's 100,000, 10,000, 100,000 people. I have a small audience that would love to engage with you, and make it, a low cost thing. Make it 10 minutes, 5 minutes. An interview show does not have to be hard. You could literally I've seen people do this, and I follow a ton of people who have 3-question interview shows where they ask a guest 3 specific questions. That's literally all you need to do. That's 10 minutes. Honestly, there's so many people that have 10 extra minutes every single day. We all have 10 extra minutes. We spend more time on our phones and whatnot that we give each other credit for, right? So just ask people. And the thing about an interview show, it has to be mutually beneficial. Again, if you're learning and using their knowledge to give to your audience, you got to give something to them. That's why interview shows, I think, are so great, because most likely if you bring them on, they'll bring you on and you both get exposure. So those are the 3 big live components. It's live, unscripted, kind of here. It's a Q&A show, and then it's an interview show. The next one is kind of the scripted, and many people feel comfortable with this. Like, for instance, in the live one, maybe you only have live access on Instagram and LinkedIn, or Instagram and Facebook. That's okay. Maybe you don't have it for LinkedIn, but your audience is more LinkedIn focused. That is totally okay. What you can do is do a pre-recorded, pre-recorded. What am I going with? What am I going with? Pre-recorded or pre-scripted show, right? Where you basically have a filming session. By the way, we have a special guest about to appear. Is she on? She's a little bit on. She's gonna want to sit here. Well, this is live, guys. This is you can't hide this. So the pre-recorded show basically follows the very same formula that we just talked about, right? Where there's there's kind of a single person like me talking. There's a Q&A format, and then there's a guest format. And basically nothing really changes besides that you post-produce those shows, right? You add more, maybe captions to it. Maybe you add a ton more. What is it? What am I going with? Oh, you add graphics to it. You edit the sound. You take out all the ums, ahs. When I'm doing it live, I can't take out the ums or ahs. That's just the nature of being live. But if we're post-producing this piece of content, then we can cut out all the awkward pauses that I have and whatnot. So basically from the live versus pre-recorded, some people feel more comfortable in both. Again, I hate post-producing. If I wanted something post-produced, I'd send it to my team, and they would help me out with that. But I don't like doing it. It takes a while for me. Again, I will do it if I have to, but I feel so much more comfortable talking live. Like, I like seeing when Karen's talking or Ayana. I like getting questions, making sure that Eddie's safe out there in his home office. So that's the whole framework with this, right? At the very end of the day, some people feel more comfortable on live and then scripted, right? So with the scripted stuff, there's a ton of video editing tools, and I'll do a whole live and show around that one. See, and this is why another great example of a show. I'm reading the comments and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I should probably make a show about how to post produce content. Boom, that's another piece of content. And it was only caused by the iterations I've had here, watching what people are saying, thinking out loud, and being able to film. So now that I've kind of convinced you that you need to start a show, what is the next step, right? And the next step is very, very simple. I need you to pick what you're going to do. Is it that you're going to come on a camera and you're just going to talk, right? Are you going to, do a Q&A show? Are you going to interview guests? Pick one of those three. Once you have one, then work backwards what you need to do to achieve it. You don't need any fancy equipment. I'm going to stop you right there. You do not need any fancy equipment. You don't need the light in the background. You don't need the mic. You don't need the camera. Get all that stuff after you've proven to yourself that this is something that you're going to do long term. I don't want you making the financial investment or time investment into something that you're not going to do long term. So don't worry about equipment. Just get started. Pick one of those three, right? Work backwards what you need to do, and then figure out what platforms you're going to do it on. If you want to stream, go on Facebook or Facebook or Instagram, right? Do not worry that you don't have LinkedIn Live, okay? Then if you want to do something post-recorded, and you can do YouTube, you can also do stuff live on YouTube, right? And you don't need a certain amount of followers. The only ones that need access for live is LinkedIn and then TikTok. And TikTok, I think, is like 1,000 followers, then you can go live there. So don't worry about that, right? If you don't have the tools, then you don't have the tools. You don't control these platforms. If you really want to go live, start your own social media platform, right? Then you have full control if you're mad at LinkedIn or TikTok, right? So with that being said, then focus on what do I need to do? Do I need to prepare? How do I need to prepare? If it's a Q&A show, where do I find my questions? Use hashtags on social media, find what people are saying, engage with your audience, ask them. They have a ton of insights. Then use Quora if you need more. If you want guests, here's a nice thing. You can basically reach anyone on social media. So just find the person that you want to talk to and ask them on. Definitely have a theme though. The one thing I didn't talk about that I talked about on shows before is you have to have a theme and a purpose, right? You have to have a reason that you're doing it. You can't just have, and actually, frankly, people do have shows where they just talk shop, and that's fine. But I would definitely have a purpose behind my show. Right here, it's to help me create more content in regards to marketing advice and business advice. So my audience is people who are in startups, entrepreneurs, small business owners. That's really who my general population that I try to target is. So as long as I'm hitting that, and it all has a marketing component to it. This live is how you use live shows for marketing, right? So definitely have a theme. If yours is mental health or fitness or finance, whatever that is, figure out what it is that the theme is, and then figure out, if you're a subject matter expert, you should then grab the camera and start talking, right? If at a certain point you run out of ideas, switch to the Q&A show, ask questions and whatnot. And then lastly, interview guests or your audience. One thing I haven't done is gotten a live Q&A show. Like, we haven't done that. So if anyone wants to experiment with that, if you have a question right now, you want to jump on live with me to ask your question, boom, we can do that right now, and we can experiment with that. But basically, those are the three big components that we will have, right? That's basically how you do it. And whether it's live, whether it's post-produced or scripted, whatever we want to call that, you have the ability to do that, right? So basically, that's it. That's the 15-minute tangent that I got for you. And I will say, after a while, this stuff really gets addicting. Like, it's super fun. Like, I definitely want people to realize that once you getting started is the hardest part, whether it's with anything, right? But the truth is, you can do it. We all can do it. So have a fantastic day. I don't see any questions. Let me just scroll through. Karen, thanks again. Johnny, thank you. Marshall, appreciate you, my friend. Eddie, I'm glad that you're staying safe. Ariana, stay safe out there. Let's see in the comments. We have a couple people. Hashan, hopefully you're crushing it out there. And then Imitaz, thank you so much for being on. Appreciate you guys. So, actually, here I want to answer this question by Ariana real quick. So she says my issues are never doing it before, and I let things get this to me. You didn't know how to drive a car before. The truth is, you didn't. You didn't know how to drive a car. You didn't know how to drive or ride a bike. You didn't know how to do a lot of things. So don't use that as an excuse, but definitely just start rocking and rolling. So we're gonna cut it there. Have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll talk real soon. I might be on this weekend, but I will let you guys know when I plan to go live. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later.